either at the undergrad or graduate level. What we're going to do now, though, is transition. I'm going to let my panelists, I think we have everybody here. If you guys want to come join me on stage. And so this is actually my favorite part of the event because it gives us more of an opportunity I have some prepared questions, and at the end, I'll give you guys in the audience an opportunity to ask questions if you would like as well. And my panelists, just so you don't make the same mistake that I did, just click the button and turn the microphone on for me. I was here earlier and did not turn it on yet. You can go ahead and turn it on there.
Hello.
All right, that one works. Good. I'm going to put my students on the spot. Well, let me do this. We'll just start at this end. Oh, let me back over here so we don't get feedback.
Y'all just saw me.
That's right.
It's me again.
Do you mind introducing yourself again?
I'm Diana Davis. I'm Assistant Director at the Career Center. Jen will be coming in shortly, and then we'll probably swap out, edit that from Zoom as well. But yeah, thanks for coming.
Hi, I'm Tracy Sigler. I'm a department head for leadership studies and a faculty member, professor in leadership.
Hi, I'm Demarellis Perez. I'm currently a second year at the Citadel's clinical counseling program.
Hey, I'm Kamen Williams, and I'm a missions officer here at the Citadel.
Already got one. Hi, I'm Kevin Skeens, and I am the mechanical engineering department head here at the Citadel.
And hello, I'm Shannon McKenzie. I'm the Associate Director of the Student Success Center, but my primary responsibility is directing our services for students who have documented disabilities. I'm also a grad student right now.
All right, and since Kamen has a microphone in his hand, I'm going to have him answer our first question because it's directed to a student. It's a softball, don't worry. Kamen, how do you balance, work, school, personal responsibilities while pursuing your degree here at the Citadel?
So I work full-time, and I'm also in the Army Reserve, so I have obligations with that. But it's pretty manageable. In the evenings after work, I'm able to do my work. If I need an expansion on my assignments, professors are pretty flexible, but I try not to do that. I try to get my work done beforehand. Also, there are a lot of team assignments. I'm currently getting my MBA, so I'm in a business school. Try to be on top of things. Don't be that classmate or partner to not help out in group assignments, I'll say.
Ms. Perez, do you have anything that you want to add to that?
So I currently work full-time at the Cross Center. I'm one of the community engagement fellows. So balancing everything, it was new in the beginning because I wasn't used to working more full-time hours. But honestly, like Kamen said, teachers are really willing to work with you. And as long as you keep yourself accountable and are disciplined in the way that you set your time out, organize your things, all the things you need to do, keep a calendar and agenda, it's definitely manageable and doable. So I think holding yourself accountable and making sure that you're on top of it is definitely the best thing to keep up.
Okay, thank you. And so kind of similar question for my faculty members on the panel. How do you ensure flexibility for your students who are balancing that work, family, and school? Is there anything that you guys can do or recommendations for students?
So our program is asynchronous online. And so as long as you get your assignments done in the week, you can do them whenever and wherever. We have students all around the world. Actually, our program was originally created for active duty military so that you can be anywhere in the world and still pursue your academics. So we have a master's degree in leadership and a leadership certificate and a military leadership certificate. So that's one thing, flexibility. And another is you have some flexibility in terms of the professors being willing to work with you, as we talked about. So you don't want it to be an ongoing issue, but if you are, having trouble, you're out of town for your work, or your children are sick, or, something's going on in your life, I would say that our faculty are very willing to work with you as long as you ask for help and you tell them that you need some assistance or you need a little bit of extra time. They're willing to do that for you. So I won't take all the answers. I'll let Kevin.
Well, and so mechanical, or excuse me, I'll just say the School of Engineering in general, there is the undergraduate evening school for getting your bachelor's degree, and then there's the evening school master's degree as well. In engineering, at least, the undergraduate degree is still, it's all in person. There's no online option. There's too many laboratory classes and group work, building things that you need to be on a campus for. But all of the engineering master's courses are in the process of moving to at least a hybrid high flex type schedule. Um, I'm sorry, I don't want to get too far into the weeds on what that is, but yes, that means that we can work out some sort of online option for you. The majority of the time, if you're a master's student, if you are a bachelor's student, you're going to need to be in person pretty much all the time just because of the requirements that the bachelor's degree needs. But Dr. Sigler is absolutely correct. We are well aware that sometimes life is life. And if, making sure that your son gets his medicine is more important than turning in your homework on time, like, we get that. The one suggestion that I always say is just don't ghost us, right? Because that happens sometimes. You'll just have a student, they'll just drop off the face of the planet, no warning whatsoever, and then they'll turn up 8 weeks later. And, sure, we'll try to work with you, but that makes it hard. If you give us some sort of warning, hey, I have this thing going on, can you work with me on maybe being flexible on some due dates or something like that? All of the professors will say, sure, that's fine. Just tell me what you need and we'll work with you. Also, far too many people don't use Ms. McKenzie's office. She is a wonderful, wonderful resource. And if you need extra resources for some of the issues that she talked about, please go see her. It is very, very frustrating when we're teaching a student who we can say, like, you're struggling and you don't need to. Please go talk to Shannon McKenzie. So take advantage of the resources that you have, and you'll do just fine.
And so Shannon, throw this one to you. Does your office have any strategies that students can so that students can stay engaged and connected in an online or hybrid environment?
Engaged with whom? No.
Well, that's a good question. Faculty, other students, it could be a mixture.
That can be a little more challenging with online, but the one thing that we can do to help keep you engaged is we have some limited spots because it's a really popular support program, but we have a program that does academic coaching. The academic coaching program can help those students who aren't really 100% comfortable with college life yet, not quite sure how to do it, how to manage your time, how to break those assignments down and chunk them, but even somebody to talk to, because there's that online engagement in class. How do I engage in the discussion posts? And some students, when you start working that way with those discussion posts and group projects, actually make friends and continue, to be in contact with each other even after they graduate from the program. So my office would be really good, especially if you're struggling, to come get some help. You have to make an appointment for it with the academic coach, but we can then guide you. And then we can also assist you in how do you talk to your faculty members? How do you approach them with this? I will look at a student and they'll say, well, I'm going to say this. I say, well, tell me what you're going to say. They'll tell me, and I'm like, don't say that. Let's couch it this way. Let's let them know that you're struggling. Let's let them know that you really care about this, because if they know you're trying hard, they're going to be more likely to work with you and know that you've been reaching out for help. So we even will help you engage in your education with something as simple as that. And then, of course, our tutoring.
That's right. Lots of tutoring opportunities. Thank you. Jen, I know you just joined the stage, so I'll give you a chance to officially introduce yourself, and then I have a question for you.
Sounds great. Hi, everyone. My apologies that Diana was kind enough to tag team with me today, but as you can see, we are a pretty strong team together. My name is Jennifer Cleveland. I'm the director of the Career Center here at the Citadel. I just celebrated my 2-year anniversary of being here, and I have to tell you, I have never felt more inspired by our student population. Honestly, every single student population is amazing in so many ways, and our graduate students in particular, it is honestly one of the biggest honors to be able to work with, because you all have such a unique story of what brings you to wanting to pursue this program. And so it's really been a great experience to be able to work one-on-one with our grad students, and especially to, I believe that transfer students are here as well, with transfer students and talking about and strategizing together, okay, what does this mean for you now moving forward? What are your career goals? And taking a one-on-one approach together for the students who want to take advantage of that. So would love to get to know each and every one of you that is here.
Perfect, thank you. Does the Career Center, does the Career Center offer any networking opportunities for evening and graduate students?
Yes, so great question. So we do have multiple events throughout the year. And so we do traditional career fairs where we are doing our best to bring industry to the Citadel. Those are open to all of our student populations. However, though, we do recognize that you might not be available to come to campus, right? You have busy lives and you have responsibilities. So when we send out all the employers that will be coming to campus, if there are ever any that you want to be able to connect with, but you won't be able to come to the event, all you have to do is just email myself or anybody on my team, and we can connect you directly with our contact at that particular organization. So we want to make it as easy as possible for you to be able to connect with industry. So that's one of the big elements that we do. Also, too, the Citadel has one of the strongest alumni networks I've ever witnessed in my entire life, and an alumni network that genuinely wants to help current students. And so the big thing is all they ask is that you be proactive with them. They are more than happy to help, but they just need to know that you want to connect with them. So through our office and the Alumni Association office, we can also support opportunities to connect with alumni, because that can be a really nice way to start to learn about the industry a little bit more, look to see what other connections might be available, and to ask for advice.
Thank you, perfect. This question will be for Mr. Williams or Ms. Perez. So student-based questions. What strategies or habits have helped you stay on top of coursework and also just meeting deadlines in general?
I can go first. Like I mentioned earlier, a calendar. I love Outlook. It's on my computer, it's on my phone. I keep it, gives me the reminders. It helps me stay on check and keep track of my own things. Using my peers. So my program is in person. I come here in the evenings. My classes are a few times a week, either from 4 to like 6:45 or 7 to 9:45. And that is really helpful for me so I can have like that in-person time with my professors and with my peers. So we have our group chat. We use GroupMe a lot. So keeping in touch with them and like asking questions, and we keep each other accountable, being like, hey, did you guys do this yet? So I think really using your support system, mine would definitely be my peers and teachers. So just communicating, reaching out, and I like visual things, so definitely my Outlook calendar.
So my program is fully online. I definitely utilize Outlook, but I also have the Canvas app too as well, and I can see all my due dates. So I just try to stay ahead of the time. Instead of scrolling on social media, look at that Canvas app and make sure you're on top of your due dates. So.
Yeah, go right ahead.
I'm just going to give the viewpoint of somebody who has ADHD and is working full-time and is also taking 2 graduate courses. I look at my assignments every week because my classes are online with mandatory Zoom meetings. We have to do that for accreditation for my program. So I look at my assignments, I look at my readings every week, and I estimate how long do I think this is going to actually take me to read it. And then I look at the homework that is associated with it. And then I try to guess, how long do I think this is going to actually take me? And I usually guess a little more than it does because, running out of time is never ideal. So I always make sure I have a little padding. And then I look at my week and I keep it written. It's on my calendar and it's on my phone, because if I don't, I will not turn something in and I will lose it. So what I do is I say, Monday, I'm going to read this half of chapter 23. Tuesday, I'm going to read the rest of it here. Then I've got the assignment I can start, and I will literally plan every day a little bit of that work I need to do so that I'm not stuck with it all at the end of the week, because I am really good at waiting till the last minute to get it all done. And then I'm stressed out. So that's how I approach it. I have to break it down into really small chunks or I am a ball of stress. So,
And that's a great approach, and you definitely want to start early in the week, because if you're an online student, for example, if you wait until Thursday or Friday and you start the assignment, and then you have a question and you email on Saturday morning, you may or may not hear from the faculty member in a timely enough fashion to turn in the project that's due at midnight on Saturday night. So you definitely want to start that process early. So that's a great approach. This question would be for either Dr. Sigler or Dr. Skeens, or both, if you want to. What do you all feel makes the Citadel's approach to graduate and evening education unique compared to other institutions?
You can go first.
Oh, my turn to go first this time. I think that so for the undergraduate education, just the existence of a 2+2 program that enables you to, we talk about non-traditional students, right? So if for whatever reason you either can't or don't want to go to school to be a full-time student from the moment you wake up to the moment you go to bed, that's perfectly fine. And it's wonderful to have the opportunity to get both work experience parallel with your school experience, right? So if you're going to classes in the evening and you're working in the day, that means by the time you graduate, you've got something that a lot of people don't have. And that's not just 4 years of schooling, but that's 4 years of work experience as well. I don't know how much this is true about other disciplines, but in mechanical engineering, there is a long-running tradition and a joke, and that is you will graduate, you will go to your first job, and you will design your first thing, and your head machinist will come tell you that you're an idiot and don't know anything because you can't make that part. So the benefit of being able to actually be in a work environment while you're also learning helps minimize the risk of that happening, right? You get what we call the book intellectual knowledge, but then you also get hey, here's why that equation doesn't always work, and you need to know those cases as well. And then same for a master's degree. People get master's degrees for a lot of different reasons. If you're an absolute nerd like me and most of the faculty, it's because, I love mechanical engineering and I want to spend my life doing it. But sometimes that's not, not all of you may want to go and focus on some weird research problem and slam your head into that metaphysical brick wall for years and years and years. So this provides a way, again, for you to not put your life on pause, right? You can still keep working, maintain your daily life, but work towards that master's degree. That means a promotion at work, maybe that means a raise. I don't know what it means to you, but again, you don't have to put your life on pause to do it. And so it's a great opportunity that I really wish more people took advantage of. Dr. Sigler?
So now I had time to think about my answer while he was talking. So I would say one, certainly the faculty come to the Citadel because they want to work with students. So most faculty members are doing research, but we're here because we want to work with students. So we don't have graduate students teaching graduate students. We have the faculty or qualified practitioners that are working with you, and we want to get to know you. So I'm the department head, I'm an advisor, I'm an instructor. And so hopefully we are, getting to know you as individuals. We're able to adapt and respond to the needs that you have for us, for our program, given the life that you have going on right now. But we're here because we care about students and we want to help you learn. The other thing I would say about specifically the asynchronous online is the interaction you have with the other students and the kinds of students that are attracted to the Citadel, our reputation, our focus on leadership and military. So when you get into a class of 20, 25 people, you are engaged in discussions and interactions, or at least you have the opportunity to interact and learn from individuals who are starting their career midway through, at the high levels, lots of experience in different industries in different parts of the country, in different countries. So that, I think, is also a great opportunity, is that you get to meet the other students. So you certainly learn from the faculty and the materials, but I think a lot of the learning can come from the other students that are drawn to the Citadel's programs.
Thank you. Shannon, I'm going to ask you a question, and you can tell me that you don't want to answer or don't have the ability, because I don't want you to break any FERPA rules. But Do you have a student that you can think of maybe as a success story that you can talk about that you've helped through the year, or that not necessarily you, but
Oh, I
the
have,
student success
yeah, I
story?
have a lot,
Okay,
yeah.
all right.
But let's think of something very specific. I can think just recently, we had a new graduate student in a program that is, I will not name, but a new grad student who was really nervous about starting a program because they had not been in school in 20 years. And this program required a lot of reading and a lot of writing. And the student had acquired a disability within the last 10 years. So we got some accommodations put in place through my office because of a disability, but then we were also able to hook this student up with the academic coach who really worked with the student to figure out, how do I manage this amount of information? How do I break assignments into smaller chunks? What are my resources on campus? Getting this student connected to the library so that we could find digital books that I couldn't find elsewhere, and so that they could learn to research for their subject. This student was probably meeting on a weekly basis. We are now to the point the student is flying high, doing so well, getting A's in everything, and has come back and said, I would not have been able to make it through my first semester here because I didn't believe in myself. But you all believed in me, and then you gave me and showed me those resources, and I now know how to use them. And so the student's doing fantastic. And I've got a few others, but they're.
Yeah, I'm sure you do.
And Dr. Skeens and I have some, some transfer students that we've worked together that getting them right to the graduation line.
Perfect. Thank you. Jen, do you have, are there any trends that you're noticing in job placement or career growth taking place, and particularly for students in this population?
Absolutely. So I did want to take down notes for myself because I knew this question was coming and I didn't want to forget anything. So this is the thing that is really interesting. I will say that the Citadel it tends to have very high job placement, which is wonderful. I think it has a lot to do as a testament to the students that come here, as a testament to the faculty, to the staff, to the resources that are here. And so in what we are seeing in trends is things that employers are asking for that I think our students are developing, which is really great to see. So emotional intelligence. So I know that may or may not be a shock to folks to hear, but employers are looking for soft skills and leadership. I think technology is amazing in so many ways. But with that, we have seen a trend of individuals who are coming into the workforce not having the same abilities as maybe individuals had more naturally in the past. So the ability to critically think is massive, and I see our programs really supporting our students to be able to actually critically think about their field. And that is something that is genuinely something that will make you extremely competitive. The other element that's happening that you all are seeing out there is the advancement of technology. Artificial intelligence is starting to make its way into industry. And so what we're seeing is that folks that can bring the human component to the field are who are really the ones who are being chosen for roles. And that's something that I think that our programs do a really good job of supporting our students in developing, is that, again, that critical thinking about any tool can spit information out to you, and anybody could regurgitate that information, right? What's going to make you competitive is your ability to explain and question the why behind that information, right? That when somebody in the future asks you for information and you get the report in a split second, because we have that ability nowadays, when they ask you, well, why is that? You don't panic and you can actually figure it out and answer, right? So that's actually a really big trend that's happening across all fields that I'm seeing, whether you're coming here for a clinical counseling program, right? Or if you're going into engineering, right? Like it really doesn't matter if you're here for leadership, for example, right? this is something we're seeing as a trend across all fields, and something that I'm seeing our students have a competitive edge. So my ask for you all is to lean into the program, lean into the process. When your professors are asking you why and asking you to critically think, go for it. You know what I mean? You might get frustrated. I was a student too, and I was like, I don't know if I want to go deeper, right? But the thing is, though, it's for our benefit, right? It's what will make us competitive always, right? So those are some main trends that I'm seeing. Oh, and the other part too is just remember, roles that you all in this room might have in the future might not exist today. So the other part too is to be open to adaptability. That's a big element. And so that's something that I think our programs do a really good job of like kind of throwing some curveballs here and there in a good way. Because the reality is it's about you learning your skills that are transferable, right? It's not about learning for a job title. It's about learning skills that you apply in multiple different venues. Because the reality is that we don't know what the needs will be of the future, right? But if you know your skill sets and you know your strengths, right, and you learn that when you're in this program, you're going to be able to be adaptable for whatever industry is asking for each step of the way.
That's a great answer. Thank you.
This is
question
why I
will be-
took notes.
That's right. This question will be for Ms. Perez or Mr. Williams, or both, and you may or may not be able to answer it. And it's okay, just because I don't know how far along you are in your program. So, can either one of you share an example of a course project or assignment that you've directly applied to your job, or that you feel is going to help you meet a specific career goal?
Okay, I can go. So my program is obviously all about trying to be a therapist or work in a clinical setting. They have us going for like applying our skills to school-based settings, like working with school counselors, school psychologists. We can try and apply our skills to substance abuse clinics. MESC has a burn unit center. They have an organization called Safe Seniors for elderly population that might be facing abuse. So we do role plays, and how they grade us is, that's my projects because we don't really do a lot of handwritten stuff, but it's all application based. So we all do big role plays, and they grade them on like how we would do it if we were doing our like residency LCPA, so like a licensed professional counselor assistant. Um, and so you're doing that real life thing to see how it would be if you're actually training under a supervised clinician. And if we don't do well on one, we are kind of like a warning or at risk for us to kind of see what's going on, where are we off a little bit to help us get better to meet where we should be or like what others would want us to be at. But I think it's definitely transferable. I'm currently looking at practicum sites for the fall semester. And I think what we've learned and how we do the role plays really benefits us because when we go in interviews, we've done a whole like different simulations with different mock clients. So I think it really helps me feel confident in like when I'm talking to these employers or like when I'm doing the interviews, I feel like I can definitely transfer the skills I've learned to the real life setting. So
I'm not too far along in my program, but I am becoming an Excel expert in my accounting class. So any help that they need in the office, I'm pretty much the Excel expert for the office. So
That's good to know, Cayman. I'll see you tomorrow. So from a faculty member's perspective, kind of same question, what skills do you see students develop in your classes that translates over into their career or career goals?
Your turn.
Okay. So I would say for our experienced students in the Masters of Leadership, sometimes what happens is that they just figure out the term that explains what they've already done and what they know works. So like, oh, well, I've been doing this for years and now I understand it's because of this approach and this is why it should work and this is why it should be helpful. And then some of the classes, one of our specific learning outcomes is being able to reflect on your own strengths and weaknesses as a leader. And so we do a lot of assessments and students get to know themselves. They develop an ethical leadership policy, a leadership philosophy. And so they really do a lot of internal work to understand and know themselves so that they can choose how to lead and to be their most effective leader. So empathy, maybe, and again, back to emotional intelligence that Jen was talking about. And I guess thinking critically about leadership in a different context. So we do a lot of case studies and, in this situation, what would you do and why? And they get to talk about that in kind of a safe environment that's not really a workplace that they're working in right now. So that development of the critical application of those concepts to kind of a safe other environment. So now I'll pass it.
So for engineering, a lot of times what we see is that you'll have someone who's been working for a while, and there's certain procedures or protocols in place wherever they're working. And when they come to school here, then you start learning about, okay, what's the background behind why that procedure was developed? Why does this particular phenomenon happen? When I'm trying to make something, why does it break? Right? And so you get the background knowledge behind some of the stuff you're experiencing. There is also, we have classes that aren't just, here, learn this complicated equation. We do have classes that are very much design from scratch type classes where it's basically just, here is a problem. Because what do engineers do, right? We solve problems. So here's a problem, solve it. And so that allows a lot of our students, Ms. Cleveland was talking about soft skills, right? And so we definitely want, an engineer with good soft skills is, I was at Georgia Tech for a long time. I can make that comment. But, we want you to develop not just, okay, I know that this relationship does this, but again, from a critical thinking standpoint, if this is a problem, we'll teach you how do you find potential solutions for that problem, and then figure out which solution is going to be the best. And so that's actually the process. This might be a little too much information, but there are some things in class that we teach the students these concepts, and the universal reaction is, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. And to this day, those particular concepts in that class are the ones that students come back from internships or jobs and go, we use this all the time. See, we are teaching you this for a reason. So it's, you'll learn some very direct frameworks that a lot of companies use on how to make sure not just that technically what you're doing, but also when presented with a problem that you're generating a good solution for the problem.
Thank you. Jen, we have one last question for you. How does the Citadel, in your office in particular, help students connect with potential employers, industry professionals? The word handshake was mentioned earlier.
Yeah. So we have different modalities of being able to connect with industry. I can start with Handshake because that was mentioned. It is a platform that we use for many things, like all things Career Center. One of which is where it's our main job board. However, though, I like to share, if you are an advanced job seeker, do not use that job board because you'll be disappointed because it tends to be more entry points into industry. We have another platform called Career Shift that's for advanced job seekers that would connect you with opportunities across all industries across the world, to be honest. But also, too, it's where you'll be able to see all the different events, along with what employers are going to be a part of those events is within Handshake. The other thing that I will say, though, is that many of our programs have very specific industry-specific opportunities. So an example of the clinical counseling program does a phenomenal job of putting together a fair of different opportunities for practicum and internship. And it is an amazing opportunity. And I think it's phenomenal because it's so specific to the field, right? So it's a great thing. We have a graduate assistants in our office. We tend to have clinical counseling grad assistants work with us because you can do career coaching as part of the process. But I get to hear about these events and I'm like, this is awesome. Yes, right? Engineering, we of course do big multi-major career fairs, but we do engineering-specific career fairs. In the School of Business, we'll do specific individual career fairs, industry specific. So that's something that we are doing always, trying to connect folks with industry. But the biggest thing that I would say is, honestly, please have a one-on-one with us. That's what we're here for. I always say, if you are in a more advanced position, work with us one-on-one, because you have a unique story and a unique journey that's brought you to this point, right? So it's something that we want to be here to support you in figuring out what's going to be best for you, what's a good strategy, right? And then in those one-on-ones, we can strategize together. Is it connecting with alumni? Is it us connecting you with an employer? Is it you being able to think outside the box, to think about who's within your network to even begin with, that you can have a great conversation with, to be able to learn more, right? So we really, when we can, we like to take a one-on-one approach. And so handshake is how you will make a one-on-one appointment with us. So remember that. So come see us, but also too, like I said before, if there's ever anything that we're doing that you see and you're like, oh, I would love to do that, but my schedule just won't allow me to, please just reach out to us and we'll connect you with the individuals. Because the recruiters that we have partnerships with, they do want to talk to you, right? And so they do recognize that folks may not be able to come to events, and so they'll be happy to talk with you.
Yes, please. Can I add on another tool that the Career Center provides is LinkedIn training, and how you can search. So I'm how many years old, and I learn every time they do a LinkedIn training that you can search and find, I'm interested in this company, I'm interested in this industry, who works at this company in Charleston that went to the Citadel, that and there's amazing things that they can teach you to do. If you probably, some of you know that already, but that's another great thing. And they come and they do trainings. And so that's what we coach the cadets to do a lot, is to connect, send 5 messages every day to people on LinkedIn to try to network. And a lot of times they'll just respond out, if you send them a message and say, hey, I'm a student at the Citadel and I'm interested in your industry, I'm interested in your company, can we do an informational interview? Then a lot of them say yes. So that's another great service they provide at the Career Center. So I wanted to plug that.
Thank you, Dr. Ziegler. We appreciate that. Is true. We are. I want you all to know we are a career center that tries to stay on top of trends as much as possible. I'm currently testing out a new software that will help you make your resume applicant tracking system friendly. So that's something and it's using AI, right? So it's something where we do testing first, make sure we're not just going to throw something out there, without it being tested. But we are always trying to stay on top of what are the latest hiring trends, and we want to provide the best service that we can for our students to be ready for the workforce, not just of today, but for tomorrow.
Thank you. We've got just a few minutes. Does anyone in the audience have a burning question that you would like to ask the panel? You don't have to. If not, I'm going to see if the panel wants to give any last parting words of wisdom. If you have any, great. If not, we'll transition to our next portion and give everybody a chance to stretch their legs a little bit. No questions? No, that means you guys did a great job. Thank you. Oh, okay, go right ahead.
So I don't know if I was up for a comment. We do have a leadership certificate that can be added onto any graduate program, including engineering, that is a 5-course sequence that has a couple of electives you can pull from your major program and your graduate program. So if you want to add a little bit of leadership work onto whatever else you're learning and developing, we've got the tool for you. Anybody else want to plug anything?
I just had one closing comment that I want to put out there to you all. We were asked if we wanted to provide any type of advice as you are about to embark on this academic journey. And the questions that my recommendation is to sit with is, on my side, people always ask for career, what do you want to do? right? That's always like a big question that comes with that. With that said, I also want you to ask yourself, who do you want to be? I think that that's such an important question to constantly come back to. Who do you want to be in this world? Who do you want to be in your industry? And in that, you discover for yourself and identify what are your strengths, where do you get your energy from, what are your value systems, right? So that when you are choosing your industry and the organizations that you're going to be working with, the teams you're going to be working with, that you can do that intentionally to be in alignment with what's best for you, because people who do that, I have witnessed, they're the ones who are the sky's the limit. Like they can go the distance in the career path and they have the energy to do it and the passion to do it. Like I love hearing Dr. Skeen say about being a engineering nerd. Like you can see the passion, right? Like he's going the distance with it because he loves it. But that's a lot about him knowing about who he is and what his strengths are and what his passion is, right? And so who he wants to be, right? And so that's something that I want to encourage you all to do the same. Not just what do I want to do, but who do I want to be in this industry?
I just wanted to say that I know like coming in, it can be kind of, scary. It's something new, but it's also something really exciting. And I think you guys should all be really proud of yourselves for taking this next step.
Right. Well, thank you very much to our panel. We'll give you a big round of applause. Thank you so much. All right. With that, we'll end this portion of the program.